Hey everybody, welcome again to another episode of the podcast. I hope you are really looking forward to this. I am as well. Well, not really, to be honest with you. Let me start. Okay, let me start so you guys can see me because you can guess this is my second time recording this. I've, mm, yeah, I messed up again, but whatever. Whatever, it's all a learning experience. So, we're here. I just completely deleted what I recorded before so that I would make sure that it gets done properly. But yeah, we're here today talking about a really, 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 really great show that I've been kind of binge watching over the past week or so. Um, Also, I realized recording is the first time, while I was explaining that I haven't been really available for the past few weeks, but don't worry, I'm not going anywhere. Or the past few months, I've been recording on like a kind of bi-weekly schedule pretty much. But I was just explaining well, this is kind of one of the reasons why I don't do a Patreon, because like right now at this moment in my life, this is kind of a more comfortable pace for me than pushing for every week or pushing for several things a week. Also, Rod, my bad for not responding to your email in time. Like, I just kind of been doing my own thing for a few weeks, and I'm gonna sit down and make sure I write back to you before the night's over. But I normally like to respond to your stuff before I record, but I just wanted to get something down, for tonight before I did that. So my apologies for that, taking my time for that. But yeah, pretty much I realize it's just family stuff, other social events. The end of the year is coming. Football season is in full swing, so I think a combination of those things is kind of making me a bit less unavailable. This podcast people or audio people, hopefully, well, no, YouTube people, hopefully this doesn't get a content strike. So I kind of gonna do like a little picture in picture thing and not and hopefully that works. I don't know. I'll just see, what works. Yeah, but let me just put some context into it. Let me hurry up. This is gonna be a really short one. This is gonna be a lot of homework for you guys because this show had the fourth season of this one is premiering in Japan. This is a show, anime, called Aggretsuko. In English, it's Aggressive Retsuko in Japanese. And what it is, it's a really I'm hooked on this show. I watched 2 seconds of it and I was hooked. And every person, Japanese person, my wife, people around me, her friends, I've introduced the show to, they've been like, yeah, I'm fucking binge watching it. It's so great. It hits on a lot of different notes that we talk about on this podcast: relationship stuff, work stuff, Japanese culture wise, power dynamics, economy, things like that. It hits on a lot of different stuff. If you've been listening to me ramble about all this shit all the time, you'll be able to pick up quite a few things by watching this show, right? And hopefully, if you have a girlfriend or whatever, the main character in this, she's 25. She's a red panda. It's all animals, which makes, I think, the situations a bit easier to understand, a bit easier to consume, but it's very much grounded in reality. Of course, there are exaggerations in the show, but the situations, the dynamics are very, very realistic. Even talk with Japanese people, I'm like, yeah, they're very realistic. So things, seeing situations from a different point of view, a different perspective, is something you can really gain from the show, just to help you in your life here, if in your relationship, things like that. So all right, let's get to it. Right, again, hopefully, fingers crossed that YouTube doesn't fucking kill me. Okay. So Retsuko is just your average panda, right? As you can see, the voice actors are actually really good too. Typical basic Japanese girl, 25. She's an OL. She works for a company. I love her. Her boss is the pig. She works in the accounting department of a big, I think, trading company, and I love it. The guy next to her is his suck up, basically. But he's kind of a middle-aged guy. You can also see how he's an asshole to her, how he takes care of her a lot in the first season. The second season of the show really gets into relationship stuff in a bit more detail. And sometimes it goes in a little bit way that's not as practical, but still entertaining. But the first season, man, whew, I finished the first two. I'm gonna watch the third season now. Yeah, things like she has to get tea for her boss, which is something like I've seen Japanese office ladies or administrative assistants do. It's kind of an old school kind of thing. It's not so common anymore. It's kind of being phased out. But in the past, like office ladies or OLs, which I explained before, were pretty much, for larger companies, doing more of the miscellaneous work that the more skilled staff members don't do, like data entry, answering phones, serving tea, stuff like that. They were really responsible for those tasks. Now, maybe typing emails or shit. I don't know, shit like that. I don't really know. But pretty much traditionally, the view is like a OL. Generally speaking, is gonna be a younger woman and work until she gets married in her late 20s or 30s, then quit the company and become a housewife. It's kind of like what it is. It's kind of like more of a seen as like a dead end job. Is kind of my view of it. But for her job, you can also see how hard she works, how unfairly she's treated sometimes. But that's kind of part of the system, right? How she's kind of hazed, if you will.
疲れてる暇なんてないわよ。この時期は人手が足りないの。おい、腰掛け。じゃあ。
Yeah. Him asking to her boss, asking for tea, not even asking, like demanding tea, is kind of, I think, like an old school, maybe 30 years old ago kind of way of bosses used to act, I guess, is the impression that I got. But of course nowadays, like, that's kind of really frowned upon, but and that actually comes up in the show as well. So there's a lot of social dynamics that come up. And the thing about Aggretsuko is at night, she gets brutal. So, she lets out. Yeah, it's really entertaining because you can see the dynamics between her inner feelings and her outward appearance, where she tries to be serious, she tries to be majime, and it becomes like a whole one episode is all about her being majime, and a lot of Japanese people are really like this and get hung up on this concept. So, we have like her really cute Japanese kohai, younger kohai meaning younger staff member who everyone hates, but who's kind of like a gold digger, really calculating. You'll also see kind of like the dynamics of behind the scenes, like a girl you might meet and talk to, but what she might be thinking behind the scenes. And this is one of the characters that I've kind of touched on as well. You'll kind of see that thought process. Like it might be a little bit shocking in some ways, but it's funny. It's done very well, very entertaining. And Sanrio's iconic character sings her heart out. Yeah, it's a really great show. And again, I highly recommend it for anyone who is thinking about coming to Japan, who is in Japan, who's in a relationship with a Japanese person in Japan. Like, basically anyone who's listened to this fucking podcast, like, this is the shit should be watching, right? It's done in a very lighthearted, like exaggerated, kind of funny way, but a lot of it is really grounded in reality and things that will really give you some insights on how Japanese people interact with each other. The first season especially. The second season gets a little bit flighty. I haven't started watching the third season, and the fourth season's coming, like, I think like next week or something like that here in Japan. So it is my number one show of the moment right now. Also, like, just looking through some of the links that I had before there, please, podcast, YouTube, whatever, check a few mini documentaries that are really cool. The first one is Tokyo has built the world's best subway system. And it goes into a little bit of detail about the Tokyo subway system. It doesn't really, at first, I watched this like a short 7-minute mini doc, and at first I was a little bit disappointed because I thought that they were only going to talk about the subway system, the Tokyo Metro system, but there is also like the JR system, and there are several other train companies, Odakyu, and probably some others that I'm forgetting as well, KO. But yeah, so there's an extended networks of subways and above ground trains here in Tokyo, but they spend most of their time talking about the subway system. So don't be fooled by that. I think later in the documentary they do talk about the other ones, but I normally don't ride the subway as much as I ride like the above ground ones. I ride JR and the above ground ones, Tokyo, a lot more. Not so much Tokyo Metro as much, but the Tokyo train system, it is just like clockwork. It's amazing, and it is not confined to one train company. So even though they spend a lot of time talking about one train company, the scope of what they're talking about, the subway is, I would say, services mainly central Tokyo, but the extended branches of it are quite extensive. Again, the snakes fucking from an airplane. Okay, so check that one out. And the other one, I scanned through it, but I found it randomly. It came out a while ago. I was thinking, I wanted to do a full review of it. I might do that, I'm not really. I don't really play games as much as I used to, so it's not something I really want to talk about for 20, 30 minutes. But it is like a good 45-minute documentary about Japan, the gaming giant, and can it stay in the game. And it's, I guess, again, about Japan losing its place as at the forefront of gaming culture, and it's trying to like find its way and fight back and things like that. I forgot that I added this link to another file that I had before, but it seems really interesting, and I do want to take some time to watch it. So I recommend you watch that. Just supplement the materials. But between the lack of my recording, again, just because it's setting up, breaking stuff down. This time of night, it's almost midnight right now. I got to iron and get ready for work. Football season. Sorry, y'all. After Super Bowl, it should be all right. It should be a little better. But so just bear with me. And then I got a few things I have to address not negatively, but, February, March, April, up into spring. So for a while, we might be going every other week for several months. But I'm not going anywhere. You guys are stuck with me, and I'm always kind of thinking of content to watch and to prepare so that I can keep something interesting for you guys. Like I kind of said before, like in the video I deleted that got messed up. Like I at this point in time with the podcast, like I want to make sure that when I say something, when I record something, it's something that's useful for you guys. And I'm not just like hitting play on a regular basis, hitting record on a regular basis and just like, kind of talking some bullshit. Not shitting on anybody else, because a lot of people put out a lot of great content, but the amount of effort that I'm putting into it at this moment, I know like if I were kind of pushed into really putting something out once, twice a week right now, it wouldn't be kind of interesting for me. It wouldn't be as interesting for you guys. So just keep that in mind. My apologies, and just work with me, y'all. We gonna get there. So all right, let me wrap things up here. So again, sorry, it's shorter than 15 minutes, but you got a lot of supplemental material to rock with. So all right, I'm gonna leave you there, and I will holler at you next time, probably for a full show at some point. Yeah, all right, I need to do a full show. Sit down. All right, holler at you next time. Peace.